Hello everyone, I am Prem Kumar. Welcome to Math JEE Academy. Today I am going to discuss with you a very interesting topic, composition functions. If two function is there, how to composite these two functions. Okay, we'll discuss that. So first we'll discuss the definition and then we'll discuss step by step. We increase the level of the questions, right? Okay. So first you have to understand what is, let's take the function from a to b, right? G is the function from b to a you can take, clear? So that means you are taking the function f from a to b and then let's take here b to c you can take, otherwise b to c you can take. B to C here is what? G function. Understood? Suppose you are taking the input here. So this is input, right? This is input value. This is output value. So if I take A, one typical element, how to choose? Let's take X. Then under operation, under the process of the operations, here is what? F. First is operation is what? F here. Then output will be f of x. Okay, clear? Now the second what you are doing, just you can take G function. Second is G function from B to C. G domain is f of x. Range of f is what? F of x here, right? But the range of f is fall in B. And G, the domain of G is what? F of x. What is the range of that one? Will be G of f of x. Clear? Therefore, the G composition f is from A to C. G composition f from A to C you have to write. Clear? So, very simple. The two functions, one is input, one is output. So, if you take A here, X, you take a typical element, then under the process of F, you will get f of x, just like a machine, right? If I take F, X input take f of x, output with f of x. Let's take this is Y. Understood? Now, what you are taking, the second case, G you are taking, the input here is f of x. Under the process of G, so you will get G of f of x. Okay. When G composition f of x is defined, you can see when G composition f, when G composition f of x is exist, when it is, tell me, here you can see the range of, what is the range? Range of f of x will be completely within the domain of G, right? You can see the range of f of x, then only it will be defined. So you can see the range of x, suppose A to B, suppose, okay? The range of, that means A to B within the domain of G. Understood? Range of f should be subset of domain of G, then only it is possible. Otherwise, so it will not define. Understood? Because your input of G is what? F of x. That means what? F of x is the range of, you know, f, right? Range of f is here is what? It will be fall in B. So that means that f of x, whatever it will be, f of x, that should be within the domain of G. Then only G composition f is defined. Understood? The same way you can define, you can see, first you have to understand what is G composition f of x? What is the meaning G of f of x? First you take x is the input, you can apply f. F of x is there, no? That is the output of under the process of f, right? That is output of functions. You can apply G into it, then you will get G of f of x. Clear? Okay. So f composition G of x. How to write f of G of x? When this is defined, the range of G of x is a subset of, that means within the domain of f, domain of f, then only f composition G is defined. Clear? Okay. Otherwise, f composition G is not defined, because within the f only the range of G should be there. Understood? So that means all the range, this is suppose range of G of x means that should be within the f. The same way G composition f means within the G only range of f would be there. So that means all the values of f completely within the domain of G. Understood? I hope everyone understood, right? This is the f composition G. So with this, what we can do, let me take a simple example. Suppose if I take f of x equal to, let's take simple example, x square, and G of x equal to, let us take square root of x. Let's find the G composition f of x. First, what you can do? First, you can apply, first you take x, apply f, and then G you can apply. That is G composition f of x. That means, what is the input of G f of x? What is input of f x? Clear? Okay. So that means G f of x is what? X square. Right? Just you replace here. F of x is what? X square. So what is G of x square? So you can see, just you can observe that. Let me take another color. Just you compare this. G of x square, input here is x square, here input is x. Just replace x by x square. Then what will get? Square root of x square. Understood? Square root of x square. This is same as the mod x you can write. Clear? Because x may be any real number, right? So you can define f is, you can take f is from real number to real number, G also real number to, you can see the G is what actually. So you will not get the negative value, right? You can take positive real number, anything is fine. Okay? This way you have to define the composition of the two functions, right? Okay, fine. So let me take another example. Let me take this one. Let me take another page. Yes. Let me take this page. You can see here how to find the domain of this function. So first one. Let's take the first one here. F composition G of x. F of G of x. That's a definition, right? That means G of x is the domain of f, right? G of x is the domain of f. X is the domain of G. Okay. So fine. Let's take G of x is what? Square root of 2 minus x. Understood? Now you can compare. Here you can see f of x is there, here f of square root of 2 minus x is there, right? What's the input here? Square root of 2 minus x. Here x is the input here. Just to replace x by square root of 2 minus x. You can see here. Then what will get? Square root of, just replace x by square root of 2 minus x. Clear? Okay. So we need to find the domain. Okay. So you already know that under the square root is always greater than 0, right? Otherwise, the domain means what? Defined value, right? For example, 1 by x you take. So x is non-zero, right? Then only it is defined. If x 0, 1 by 0 is not defined, no? So the domain means collecting the defined value. The same way here, under the square root of 2 minus x is there. That means 2 minus x should be greater than or equal to 0. 2 is greater than or equal to x. That means x should be less than or equal to 2. That means x belongs to minus infinity to 2. We can take, right? Yes. Clear? You can take any real number, let's take here 2, here minus infinity to 2. Any real number you can take, it will be defined. F composition G. Let's take, if I take 3, if I put 3 here, 2 minus 3 is what? Minus 1. Under the square root of negative 1 is a complex number. It is not a real number. We are only focusing on the real number, right? Okay. So let's take the second one. You can see second one, what is that? G composition f of x. G composition f of x. What is the meaning? You can apply G on f of x, right? G, what is f of x here? Square root of x, right? Just you can observe the g of x graph, g of x function. Square root of 2 minus x, right? Just you replace x by square root of x. 2 minus square root of x. The first observation you can see, under the square root is always greater than or equal to 0. Then only we can find the real solutions, right? The first observation, 2 minus square root of x is greater than or equal to 0, right? And one more thing, one more square root is there. You can see here x should be strictly greater than 0. X should be strictly greater than 0. Clear? So you can solve this one quickly. 2 is greater than or equal to square root of x. That means what? So we need x now. You can squaring on both sides. What will get? 4 is greater than or equal to x, right? That means x is less than or equal to 4. But x should be more than 0 and x should be less than or equal to 4. You combine this. Let's take this as 1. This is take 2. And take this one, what will get? So x will be fall in 0 included, no? Yes, greater than or equal to 0. You can include, no problem, right? Because if you put 0, it is defined, right? So more than 0, less than or equal to 4. It's more than 0, here less than 4. You can combine these two things, it should be 0 to 4. From 0 to 4 is a domain value. If I take more than 4, less than 0, this function is not exist. It's not defined. So what is the meaning? G composition f is when it is defined. When the range of f of x will be completely within the domain of G. Clear? Completely within the domain of G. Correct? Okay, so that means 0 to 4 only possible. Let me take a third one, f composition f of x. Let me take another page, f composition f of x. F composition f of x, find out quickly. What is that? You can apply f on f of x, right? F on f of x. So what is f of x here? You can see what is f of x? Square root of x, right? Square root of x. Now you can see what is f of x again? Here square root of x only. No, you can observe that f of x is given to you square root of x and g of x is given to you square root of 2 minus x. Square root of 2 minus x, right? So then just you can see here f of x. Replace x by square root of x in f of x, right? Square root of x. You can directly say that under the square root cannot be negative. So therefore we can say x is greater than or equal to 0. It will be defined. Therefore domain of f composition f of x equal to what? X belongs to 0 to infinity. More than 0, no? Or equal to 0. 0 to infinity. Otherwise it will not be defined, right? Let's take the fourth one. You can see g composition g of x. You can see the g composition g of x is what? Square root of 2 minus x, right? Square root of 2 minus x, right? Let's apply g on g of x, right? G on g of x. G, what is g of x? Square root of 2 minus x. Clear? Now again you can focus on g of x. You just replace x by square root of 2 minus x. Replace here. What will get? 2 minus square root of 2 minus x. Here you have to observe two things. One is the larger square root. One is, simple, smaller square root, right? Understood? You have to observe that under the square root always greater than or equal to 0. First observation you can see. First one you can see what is that? 2 times 2 minus square root of 2 minus x is greater than or equal to 0. First observation, right? Because this is your larger square root. This should be more than 0. Then only it is defined. Okay. Fine. So you can solve. And one more thing, you can see second one. Second one you can see, student. This one, right? So, okay. You can take this one, 2 minus x, right? And 2 minus x is also greater than or equal to 0. Solve this one quickly. 2 should be 2 is greater than square root of 2 minus x, right? Greater than or equal to, right? You can squaring on both sides, what will get? 4 is greater than 2 minus x. You can solve this equations here in this inequality. What will get? Is squaring it 2 minus x. So you can add minus 2. 2 is greater than minus x, right? Correct? Adding minus 2. 4 minus 2 is 2. So minus 2 plus 2 cancel, minus x, right? Okay. Now what is that meaning? Minus x less than or equal to 2. This implies you can multiply minus 1 both sides. What will get? X is greater than or equal to minus 2. Because when there is inequality, if you multiply the negative 1, the inequality will be changed. For example, 2 is greater than 1. If I multiply minus 1, minus 2 less than minus 1, right? Okay. So this is the second one. First one you can see 2 is greater than or equal to x. That means what? X should be less than or equal to 2. Okay. You combine these two things. This is 1. This is 2. Combine from 1 and 2, what we can say? We need these both the condition. That's why we are combining these two things, right? So from 1 and 2, what we can say? X should be less than or equal to 2 and x should be more than minus 2. If I take any value other than this interval, this will not be defined. So domain means you're collecting the x values only, right? Which values is defined? So minus 2 to 2 only is defined. Clear? If I take 3, so 2 minus 3, it's what is that? Square root of negative 1. It is not defined. So the domain will be minus 2 to 2 only possible. I hope everyone understood, right? Okay. Next, we'll increase the level of questions. Okay. You can see the next portion will take this question. Okay. Hello everyone. We'll continue this problem. You can see what is given to you. G of x equal to x square plus x minus 1 and G composition f of x is given to you 4x square minus 10x plus 5. So we need to find f of pi by 4. And how to do this? So you can see G composition f of x. What is the meaning? G of f of x, right? That means you can G apply on f of x, right? Okay, that means f of x is the input of G, right? Okay. Now you can see, just you replace here, replace x by G of f of x, right? Then how to replace here? F of x whole square, right? F of x whole square plus f of x minus 1, that is equal to what? 4x square minus 10x plus 5 is given to you. This is your G composition f of x, that is given to you 4x square minus 10x plus 5. But what is G of f of x? Just you replace x by f of x. Then what will get here? You can see we need f of pi by 4, right? Okay. You combine these two things, right? You combine these two things, f of, take another color, f of x whole square plus f of x minus 1 is equal to 4x square minus 10x plus 5. Just replace x by 5 by 4. What will get? F of 5 by 4 whole square plus f of 5 by 4 minus 1 is equal to 4 into 5 by 4 whole square minus 10 into 5 by 4 plus 5. Clear? Now, you can simplify this right side. What will get? So, 4 into 25 by 4 square is 16. That means 4 into 4, right? Minus 10 into 5 divided by 4 plus 5. So, 1 4 will be cancelled. You can see what is the LCM we can take. 4 you can take the LCM, right? So, 20, here 4 is there, already is there. So, 25, here already 4 is there, minus 50, 10 into 5. So, here the LCM is what? 4. You have to multiply 4. 4 into 5 is what? 20. Okay, then 20 plus 25 is what? 40. 5. 45 minus 50, minus 5. Minus 5 by 4. Got it? So, therefore, f of 5 by 4 whole square plus f of 5 by 4 minus 1. Clear now? Now, let us take f of pi by 4, let us take t. Let f of pi by 4, you can consider t. Then how to reform this equation? So, t square plus t, right, t minus 1, so equal to minus 5 by 4. Now, you can multiply by 4 both sides. So, 4t square plus 4t minus 4 is equal to minus 5. That means what? 4t square plus 4t minus 5, minus 5 is there, you send to the left side. That is plus minus 4 plus 5 is plus 1 equal to 0. You can see this is expansion of a plus b whole square formula, right? This is how to write 2t whole square plus 2 into 2t plus 1 square is equal to 0. This is how to write 2t plus 1 whole square is equal to 0. You can see a square plus b square plus 2 times ab. I hope everyone understood, right? Okay, you can equate this 2t plus 1 equal to 0. Just you can take the square root on both sides. 2t plus 1 equal to 0. Therefore, 2t is equal to minus 1, t is equal to minus 1 by 2. So, what is t here? F of pi by 4. Therefore, f of pi by 4 value is what? Minus 1 by 2. I hope everyone understood, right? How to apply the composition functions here. Okay, let me take another example. Okay, let me take another example. Okay, let me start with the next example. You can see that many of the students are facing difficulty in the piecewise function, how to apply the composition on the piecewise functions, right? Okay, so first thing what you can do, f composition g, we need to find the range of that. Okay, first you have to understand step by step. First, what you can do, f composition g of x is required. What is the meaning f of g of x? That means you can apply f on g of x. That means input. What is the input here? G of x, the input for the f. Clear? And x is the input for the g. Clear? Okay. So when f composition g of x defined, the range of g of x completely within the domain of f. Understood? Okay, fine. Now you replace x by g of x. Then what will get? You can see where is x is there, f of x is there. You can see. Just you can relate this one. Just you can replace x by g of x. Then what will get? So you will get 2 plus 2 times g of x, correct? Minus 1 less than g of x is less than 0. Just wherever x is there, you replace g of x in the f of x, right? Okay, because here x is what? Input. Here g of x is the input, right? And then second one, 1 minus g of x by 3, 0 less than x less than or equal to, what is x here? G of x, right? Strictly less than or equal to 3. I hope everyone understood, right? Now what you can do, you can fix the first function, you can apply g of x into the function, right? Now what you can do, first you have to fix the function here. First one you can fix it. Now you can apply g of x. Understood? First you can see the first one is what? So 2 plus 2 times g of x minus 1 less than or equal to g of x strictly less than 0. What is g of x here? First you can apply minus x, right? So first you can apply minus x. 2 plus 2 into minus x minus 1 less than minus x less than 0. And when minus x is possible, g of x equal to minus x when x is minus 3 to 0. That also you can take. Because otherwise it's not defined, right? Within this interval only you have to take, right? Minus 3 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 0. Okay. Now you can see you need to find this intersection here. So first one you can see, first one is what? Minus 1 to 0, right? But we need x, right? So for that what you can do? So you can multiply by minus 1 in the inequality. So that means when you multiply negative 1, the inequality will be changed, right? 1 is greater than or equal to x, x is greater than 0. That means how to rewrite this? 0 to 1. So you can write here, I'll remove this one first. Then how do we rewrite this? 0 less than x less than or equal to 1, right? And then when the g of x equal to minus x, when x is minus 3 less than x less than 0. Okay. Now you can mark it in the number line. 0 here, here is 1. 0 to 1. 0 here, 0 is not included, right? Okay. Next you can see next interval is what? Minus 3 to 0. Minus 3 I am taking here, minus 3 to 0, right? 0 is included, minus 3 also included. In this case, there is no common elements, right? You can see this violet color and white color, there is no common. Therefore, we can say x belongs to empty set. So, this function is not defined in this interval, right? Okay. I hope everyone understood, right? Next, let me take the second function you can apply. You can see in this case, I am just, you can see, I'll take green color. First, I can apply first one and apply the second one. So, why it is not writing? Yes. Clear? Now, you can apply, which one we can apply? X you can apply. Second one you can see. What is the second one? 2 plus 2 times g of x is there, no? Just you replace minus x. 2 plus 2 times, what is g of x is x. Okay. And then you can see the right side is what? Minus 1 less than or equal to x less than 0. Just replace g of x equal to second function x minus 1 to 0. When g of x equal to x, when x is 0 to 1 and 0 less than x less than or equal to 1. That is also you have to take. Understood? Okay. Now you can see any common element is there. Minus 1 to 0, 0 to 1. There is no common elements. Therefore, it is not defined. Understood? Because you can see minus 1 to 0 is different from 0 to 1. So, therefore, there is no common elements. Therefore, this function also not defined. X belongs to empty set. I hope all of you understood, right? Let's see, because there is no intersection, right? Fine. Next, you can fix the second function. Second function is what? 1 minus g of x by 3. I will take another page. Okay, 1 minus g of x by 3. You can see 1 minus g of x by 3 when g of x is 0 to 3. When g of x is 0 to 3 is included, right? You can see 0 to 3. Yes. Now you can apply the minus x and plus x here. Next, you have to fix this interval, fix the second functions, right? Now you can apply minus x. Okay, let me take this one, other color. Now you can see this one and this one you can apply. Okay. Then what will get first one? You can see, you can apply. First function is what? Minus x, right? Minus x. Just you wherever x, g of x is there, you replace minus x by 3, 0 less than minus x less than or equal to 3. And when g of x equal to minus x, you can see here, when minus 3 to 0, when x is minus 3 to 0. Clear? Minus 3 both will be included, right? Okay, fine. Now you can simplify this 1 plus x by 3. Okay, now you can see the intersection. So first you can see here, first I will complete this one. So minus 0, minus x is what? 0 to 3. First you need to find x, multiply by minus 1. What will get? 0 is greater than or equal to, x is greater than or equal to minus 3. So rearrange it minus 3, right? When you multiply negative number, inequality will be changed. Minus 3 less than x is less than or equal to 0. Clear? Okay, so then, and what condition g of x equal to minus x? You can see x is minus 3 to 0, minus 3 to 0, right? So definitely there is a common, both will be same interval, right? Clear? You can see both will be same interval. So therefore, f composition g of x, the first one you can see, first one we define 1 plus x by 3 if x is, which is common here, minus 3 to, both will be same interval only, the common will be what? Minus 3 to 0. Okay. Next you can see the next function is what? You can see, so next function you can see 1 minus g of x by 3, you can apply x here, 1 minus g of x by 3, 1 minus g of x. What is g of x here? X by 3, 0 less than x less than or equal to 3, and when g of x equal to x, you can see here, when g of x equal to x, when x is 0 to 1, 0 to 1, that is also you can take. 0 is not included, no? 0 is not included. So what you can do, x less than or equal to 1. Yes, just check it once again. Yes, correct. When g of x equal to x, when x is 0 to 1. Now you can see the common intersections will be there, right? You can, the first one, you can see 0 to 3, 0 to 3 here, and then second function is what? 0 to 1, 0 to 1 here. So 0 to 3, 0 included, 3 also included. And the second function 0 is not included. 0 is not included, 1 is included, right? Let me take 1 here, right? So this is included, right? And 0 is not included, 1 is included. Now which is common here, student? So both things common will be, you can see this portions, right? This portion is the common, right? Both are red color, right? Yes. So 0 is not included, 1 is included. So how to rewrite this one? You can see the second one, f composition g of x is equal to 1 minus x by 3, 1 minus x by 3. So when x is, the common entry is what? 0 is not included, less than or equal to 1. This is your, you combine 1 and 2, the redefined function is f composition g of x. How to write? You can see the first one, when x is 0 to 1, minus 3 to 0, right? Minus 3 to 0, so 1 plus x by 3. When x is 0 to 1, 0 to 1, then 1 minus x by 3. This is your f composition g of x. You can see that is only they are asking, right? F composition g of x, and you need to find the range of this. You can see the f composition function g of x, the domain is minus 3 to 0. The range here is, you need to calculate. How to find out? First you can see, fix the minus 3 to 0, you can fix it. We need to multiply 1 by 3, right? This is y, right? You consider this is y. You multiply 1 by 3, so what will get? So minus multiply by 1 by 3. What will get? Minus 1, because 3 cancel, minus 1 less than x by 3 less than, if I multiply 1 by 3, it will be 0 only. Now you can add plus 1, add 1. 0 less than 1 plus x by 3 less than 1, right? 0 to 1. Okay. In this case, first when x is minus 3 to 0, the range here is what? 0 to 1. This is your, let's take star. Next interval you can see 0 to 1 you can take. 0 to 1. But here 0 is not included, right? 0 is not included. 0 here is not included, right? So, 1 minute. You can see 0 is not included, no? So, you can find out. Yes, 0 is not included. So, same way here also is not included. Okay, fine. So, we can multiply. First, you can see 1 by 3 you have to multiply and then multiply by minus 1. Okay. Multiply by 1 by 3, what will get? 0 less than x by 3 is less than or equal to 1 by 3. Okay, now you can multiply by minus 1. So, 0 is greater than minus x by 3 is greater than or equal to minus 1 by 3. So, you rearrange it. So, this is ascending order, right? Minus 1 by 3 less than minus x by 3 strictly less than 0. Now, you can add 1 both sides. Now, you can add 1. What will get? Minus 1 by 3 plus 1 less than 1 minus x by 3 less than 1. So, minus 1 by 3 plus 1 is what? So, minus 1 plus 3 by 2 less than 1 minus x by 3 is less than 1. So, minus 1 plus 3 is what? 2 by 3. 2 by 2, right? So, minus 1 plus 3 only, no? Plus 1, sorry. Minus 1 plus 3 is what? So, 2 by 3 here. 2 by 3. 2 by 3, 1 minus x by 3 to less than 1. Right? Therefore, range here is what? 2 by 3 to 1. So, this is your double star you can take. From star and double star, what we can say? Different x value, different y value you get. That means you have to take the union of these two things. If you take the union, the range of this function is range of f composition g of x will be 0 to 1. Okay. I hope everyone understood. Just you take the union, right? Okay. So, these kind of questions I think all of you understood, right? Just you break this function. Piecewise function is there. How to find the composition of the f composition g of x, right? Let me take another example. Let me take this one. Okay, how to find the g composition f of x here. The same idea here. What you can do? First, you redefine this. What is that? G composition f of x. What is the meaning? G of f of x, right? Clear? Okay. Just you can see what is the domain here? F of x. You have to observe the g of x, right? Just replace x here. You can replace x by f of x. What will get? G of f of x. How to define? First, you can see. Just replace x by f of x, right? F of x. When f of x is greater than or equal to 0. Clear? And second one, you can see e power f of x. when f of x is strictly less than 0. This is your redefine this thing, right? Because G composition f of x means, what's the meaning? You can apply G on f of x. That means f of x is the domain of G. Okay, fine. Now you can apply, you can first function you can fix it, right? First function you can fix it. Which one you have to fix it first? No. First you have to see, you have to fix this one and then apply f of x here. You can see first one, you can apply. So first one you can see, student, quickly. So f of x is greater than or equal to 0, right? What is f of x here? Log x base e. Log x base e, right, is greater than or equal to 0, right? When what conditions log x base e will be possible? When x is greater than 0. When x is strictly greater than 0, right? Okay. So now you can see, student, how to find the x value here. We need x, right? So you can raising e on both sides. So x is greater than, because e is what, 2.41 something, right? It's more than 1. So there is no inequality change, right? So x is greater than e power 0 is 1 and x is greater than 0. So which is the common here? You can see, student, you have to take the common of this domain. So x is greater than 1, that means this one. And then second one, you can see x will be more than 0. More than 0. More than 0 or greater than or equal to 1. This is included. This is not included. So in the red color and white color, which is common? 1 to infinity is this common, right? So therefore this will be defined. So log x base e if x belongs to 1 to infinity. Let's take this as first one. Understood? Second one you can see. First function you can fix it, you can apply log x base e, then second you can apply the e power minus x. E power minus x you can do it. First you can see f of x is what? E power minus x. E power minus x is greater than or equal to 0. Clear? Just replace x, f of x, right? Okay, so then what condition you will get e power minus x when x is less than or equal to 0? Clear? You can see e power minus x, you know, e power minus x, first observation, it's 1 by e power x is always greater than 0. Greater than or equal to 0, right? This is true or not? Strictly greater than 0, no? First one. So that means what value cannot take here? You can take any value, it's more than 0 only. So that means you can take x belongs to real number, right? But you can take 0, yes, it's possible, right? Yes, any real number you can take, it is defined, right? But it should be greater than 0. 0 is not included in the range, but we need the domain only. Okay, so any value you can take in the real number, e power minus x is greater than or equal to 0. Greater than 0, you can say, right? So you can take x is belongs to real number, and the second one is what? X is less than or equal to 0. Now, which is common here? First one is x is real number, because e power minus x is true for any real number is greater than 0 only. Second one is x is less than or equal to 0. Okay. So common things, what? Real number, x less than or equal to 0. Which is common? X is less than or equal to 0 is the common. E power minus x will work. Right? This is the second one. Right? Understood? Hello everyone, we'll continue this question. You can see we need to apply the second functions, right? Second function, first function you can apply it. So we got the two things. The one is when x is 1 to infinity log x base e, when x is less than or equal to 0 e power minus x. Next you have to apply the second function e power f of x. When f of x is less than 0, right? E power f of x, e power f of x, when f of x is less than 0. E power f of x, when f of x is less than 0. You know what is f of x, already you know, right? Just you can apply the first function, e power log x base e, right? If log x base e less than 0, when it is possible, when log x base e is exist, when x is greater than 0. You take that one also, right? Now you can see e power log will be 1, right? Therefore, x, if you can see e is more than 1, so definitely the inequality will not be changed. You can raise e on both sides. That means x should be less than e power 0. E power 0 is 1, right? X less than 1 and x should be more than 0. Now you can see the number line. Now we need to find the intersection of these two, right? So x less than 1, strictly less than 1, x should be more than 0, this way. So which is common here, student? Which is common? You can see this is your common, right? When if x is more than 0 and less than 1, you can define x. Clear? Next you can see, student, second function you can apply. E power f of x is less than 0. In that you have to apply the second function f of x. So what is that? E power minus x, less than 0, and when e power minus x is exist, when x is less than or equal to 0. That is also you can take. You can see e power, we know that e power minus x is always greater than 0 for all x belongs to real number, right? Therefore, this is not possible because e power x is less than 0. It is not defined. Okay. Therefore, this whole function is, this function e power minus x not defined. Therefore, here is x belongs to empty set. Now you can combine these all the things, right? So we need actually G composition f of x. You can write it here. When 0 to 1, 0 is not included, no? You can see 0 is not included. When 0 to 1 will be x. Okay. And then when x is more than 1, that means x is belongs to, we can say 1 to infinity, no? You can see x is more than 1 or equal to 1. So that case you can see what is the function we got it. You can see here. So if more than 1, 1 to infinity. So that means log x base e. When less than 0, e power minus x, right? Okay, you can write here. So log x and e power minus x. Okay. More than or equal to log x base e. When x is less than or equal to 0, then you e power minus x. This is your G composition f of x. I hope everyone understood, right? Okay. Then how to draw the graph? You can see rough graph I can draw here. You can see when x is less than 0, you can see the graph is what? E power minus x, right? E power minus x, you know that it is always positive, right? When x is 0 to 1, you can see when x is 0, here is 1, 0 to 1. So maximum you can put 1 here, 1. Y is equal to x, right? When you take x is more than 1, the log x graph will be, if you put log 1, 0. So graph will be like this. Understood? This graph will be like this. You know log x graph? Log x graph is what? This is e power x graph. Understood? So when this y is equal to x, you can take as a mirror image. This is your log x graph. Log x basic graph. 1, 0, 1, 1, 0. Right? 0, 1 here. This is 1, 0. So we need more than 1. So we need this portions only. This is the graph of that. So e power minus x. Suppose you can take here x is suppose e power minus x. You can take, let's take x equal to minus 1. What will get? E power minus of minus 1. That is e only. E is 2 point something, right? So you can see here. So if I take minus 1, so 2 point something over here. The graph will be like this. Understood? When you take 0, e power 0 is what? When you take x is equal to 0, e power 0 is 1, right? That means the graph will be, you can see the graph will be, it's 1, right? The graph will be like this. Understood? I hope everyone understood, right? E power minus x graph is what? This one, right? When x is less than or equal to 0. Understood? I hope everyone understood, right? This is the graph of G composition f of x, right? Suppose if they ask the questions, the 1, 1 is there or not? 1, 1 is not there, right? Because you can draw the horizontal line, it will be crossing the graph at most 1 point, right? But here it is more than 1 point, so definitely it is not 1, 1. So we'll discuss this in this next series, right? So first you have to understand this graph f composition G, right? Or G composition f, right? Okay, let me take another question. You can see next question is what? Which one we can take? Let me take this one. Okay. If I take this one, yes, this page is there. Yes. Let me take this one very quickly. So I'm just collecting the question which is the students are facing the problem, right? First you can see f. Hello everyone, we'll continue this question. The function g, f and g from real number to real number. F of x is given to you mod x minus 1 and g of x is given like this. E power x, x is greater than or equal to 0. When x is less than 0, x plus 1. So we need to calculate f composition g of x. First you have to define the first function, mod x minus 1. You can see how to redefine the functions here. The breaking point here is x equal to 1. You know that definition of the mod x you can use x minus 1 equal to 0. You can see the breaking point is x equal to 1, right? Okay. If x is strictly less than 1, we need to calculate x minus 1. X minus 1 should be less than 0, right? Therefore, mod x minus 1, how to define? So, minus of x minus 1, that is equal to minus x plus 1. Okay. Next, you can see when x is greater than or equal to 1, x minus 1 is greater than 0, mod x minus 1 should be x minus 1. Okay. Then how to redefine the mod x minus 1 here? This is your f of x, right? So redefine this. If x is less than 1, so minus x plus 1. If x is greater than or equal to 1, what is that? X minus 1. X minus 1. What actually is required actually? F composition g of x. F composition G of x. That means what? You can apply F on G. F on G, right? So then what we'll get here, you can see just to replace x by G of x in the F of x, right? So you can say F of x is there, no? Just replace here. So wherever x is there, you replace by G of x minus G of x plus 1 if G of x is strictly less than 1. And next is what? G of x minus 1 if G of x is greater than or equal to 1. Okay. Now you can see, student, first we'll fix the first functions, right? Fix the first one and replace G of x here, right? Okay. First you can replace e power x minus G of x plus 1 I am fixing if G of x is less than 1. Now you replace the first function minus e power x plus 1, right? If e power x is less than 1, when you will get a e power x, when x is greater than or equal to 0, right? You can take that as also. Okay. Now you can see, student, we need x value. So you have to take log base e on both sides. Then x should be less than log 1 base e value is what? 0. X less than 0 and x is greater than or equal to 0. So definitely there is no intersection. So there is no intersection here. Therefore, x belongs to empty set because strictly less than 0 and more than or equal to or x greater than or equal to 0. There is no common point. Therefore, x is belongs to empty set. I hope everyone understood. Let me take the second function. You can replace here, right? What is that? Minus G of x plus 1 if G of x is less than 1. That case, first you have to replace the second function. What is second function? X plus 1 when x is less than or equal to 0. So x plus 1 you replace it. X plus 1 if x plus 1 is less than 1. Clear? Now you can simplify this. Minus x minus 1, right? Minus plus 1, right? If x plus 1 is less than 0. Sorry. X is less than 0, right? And when it will be possible, when you can take x plus 1, when x is, you can see, when x plus 1 is possible, when x is less than or equal to 0. You can take that is also less than or equal to 0. Okay. You can simplify this one, minus x minus 1. So plus 1 will be cancelled. So you can see these two things, you can observe that. Understood? Which is common? X should be strictly less than 0, right? Strictly less than 0. So minus x. This is your first one. This is your F composition G of x. Right? Clear? Okay, fine. Next, what you can do? You can fix the second function, right? You can check it again. X less than 0 only, no? X less than or equal to 0, right? Less than or equal to 0 only we have taken, no? Yes, correct only. Okay. Let me take another function, G of x minus 1. Next is what? G of x minus 1 if G of x is greater than or equal to 1. Clear? Okay. You can apply the first function, e power x you can take, right? E power x you can take e power x minus 1 if e power x is greater than or equal to 1, and when you will get e power x, you can see when you will get e power x, x is greater than or equal to 0, right? X is greater than or equal to 0. Then you can solve this one. You can see, student, E power x greater than 1 means you can say that x is what? Greater than or equal to log 1. That is log 1 base e will be 0. X is greater than or equal to 0. So, therefore, you combine these two things, x greater than 0 means common will be what? X greater than or equal to 0 only. E power x minus 1. This is second one. You can apply the second function. What is that second function? You can see second function is what? X plus 1, right? When x is less than or equal to 0. So, what is that? G of x minus 1. If g of x is greater than or equal to 1, second function is what? X plus 1 minus 1. If g of, what is g of x here? X plus 1 is greater than or equal to 1. When you will get x plus 1, you can see when you will get x plus 1, x less than or equal to 0 and x is less than or equal to 0. Okay, then you can solve this. X is greater than or equal to 0, right, and x less than or equal to 0, right. So, you can see the plus 1 minus 1 will be cancelled. Okay. X plus 1, x is greater than 0 and x is less than or equal to 0. You can see any intersections will be there. It's more than 0 and less than 0, right. You can take this function, you can see that. So, x plus 1 minus 1, correct. X plus 1 is greater than 1, we have to put now. So, x is greater than 0 and x is less than 0. Okay. So, this case also it is not possible here, right. So, because there is no intersection, so more than 0, less than 0, right. So, this is x belongs to empty set. So, now you combine this f composition g of x is what? If x is less than 0 is minus x. If x is greater than or equal to 0, e power x minus 1. This is your functions. I hope everyone understood. So, if you like this video, please subscribe my channel. You can get more number of videos like this. I will post the videos, the students, the which chapters the students are facing difficulty. Based on that, I will post the videos, right. So, you have to subscribe my channel, so you can learn many things through this channel. And if you want one-to-one online classes, you can call to my WhatsApp number. The WhatsApp number I will mention in the description. Okay. So, thank you everyone. Thank you everyone.